Hey everyone, I'm Karnak, and this is Star Wars Armada Explained. Today we're going to look at the commander card for the Empire, Grand Moff Tarkin. How do you know he equips or is a commander? Well, if you look at his card, you'll see he doesn't have any icons on him. Other than the fact, if you look at the bottom right hand corner, you'll see the faction specific Imperial symbol, meaning he can only be played for the Empire. He is expensive at 38 points. Grand Moff Tarkin, if you look at his name, you'll see a bullet point in front of his name. It signifies that he is unique. You can only bring one of him in your fleet. His text reads, "At the start of each ship phase, you may choose one command. Each friendly ship gains a command token matching that command." And Grand Moff Tarkin, uh, very simple, and I'm going to go over a few other some interactions and things. Don't worry, make sure I'm trying to explain this card as best I can. So Grand Moff Tarkin was the very first commander for the Empire, and it kind of shows because man, he's expensive, and really his ability questionable. At least in a 400 point game, maybe in the larger, higher point games, you definitely could see a lot more benefit for him. But man, it's hard to justify him right now in a 400 point game. But let's talk about how he works. So remember, as he mentions there, it's at the start of each ship phase. You choose one command, whether that's a concentrate fire, navigation, engineering, or squadron command. You choose one, and you say, "Hey, I'm going to choose, let's say, concentrate fire," and then you then assign the token to each ship that you have, not just one ship. So I know I only have an example. I just have the two Star Destroyers out, but if I had, four Raiders and two Gazantes, I would give a token to each ship. But remember, in Armada, in a turn, you have four phases. You have the command phase to start with. That's when you're setting command dials, or if you've already started the game, you progress through your rounds and making sure you're getting, if you have command 2 or command 3 ships, you're resetting, dials that have been spent or used otherwise, reset them in the command phase. Once the command phase is over, then at the very start of the ship phase, that's when Tarkin triggers. That's when you say, "Hey, that's when I'm going to do the concentrate fire token." You then get out a token for each of your ships of concentrate fire, and you give each ship that you have that's still on the table a concentrate fire token. Um, and then they get it. They have it. Perfect. That's Grand Moff Tarkin. So in terms of for his card, there is no errata or any specific gameplay changes or clarifications or anything like that. In a nutshell, that's how you use Tarkin. Now, what's some interesting interactions with that? Well, the biggest thing is fleet commands. So if we flip these over, so for all fleet commands, it just says at the start of the ship phase you can spend, essentially whatever the equivalent token that you need to be able to trigger the fleet command. Now, when they both share the same timing, such as at the start of the ship phase, you decide which one you want to do first. So in this case, we'll say, neither of these Star Destroyers didn't have any tokens. Maybe one of them is a Cry Moon, and he's got Intensify Firepower equipped, in which case you would want to trigger Grand Moff Tarkin first to gain the Concentrate Fire token, and then you can follow up with resolving Intensify Firepower, and then you can spend that token to trigger it. Perfectly legal, absolutely can do that. And remember, when you're doing triggers, ship phase effects, remember, for the first player, you resolve all your stuff first before the second player does. It may not seem like it's important, but in some niche cases, it can be. Just remember, first player resolves all of his things first, followed by the second player. All right, now moving on. Can you redo this in reverse order? Absolutely. Say you already have a concentrate fire token maybe Tarkin gave out the prior round. You could trigger Intensify Firepower to start with, spend the token, and then follow up with Grand Moff Tarkin. Boom. Put that token right back on there. Absolutely legal. You could do it either way. It's whatever your preference is. So where can you get kind of a cute interaction? Well, FFG finally kind of released a quasi fix to try to help them out a little bit to see a little bit more play, and that is with the Star Destroyer title Sovereign. Now, I'm not going to get into everything here because obviously I'll do a video on him later, but pretty much is that you can change, command tokens on your ISDs to different command tokens. So maybe you gave out a concentrate fire to all your ships, but one of them has intensified firepower, maybe the other one has something like entrapment formation. Well, obviously, concentrate fire token, not going to do you much good, but if you've got sovereign equipped to either of these Star Destroyers, and as long as you're fulfilling requirements listed on the card, you could change that concentrate fire token into a navigate token, and then you could trigger entrapment formation. Because again, they all share the same timing. Sovereign's at the start of the ship phase as well. So again, you just kind of have to analyze the situation, determine what's the best course of order for these cards, and then you can trigger them. Maybe you don't even have any fleet commands. Maybe you have no fleet commands at all. Maybe you just have sovereign. That's totally fine too. You can, again, it's about granting a little bit more flexibility with your ships and things like that. But remember, this is an ISD title, has to be equipped to a Star Destroyer. But when he's changing tokens, it can be on any other ship. It doesn't have to be other Star Destroyers. But that's Grand Moff Tarkin. Of course, if you feel like anything's in error, if I got anything wrong, please be sure to let me know in the comments. Point it out to me. Appreciate you guys watching my videos, and I'll catch you in the next one.